Disney is the owner of ABC News. ABC News owns The View for now, because trust me, Disney can't wait to get rid of ABC. All its legacy TV businesses it's trying to sell off. I do know that. And by the way, Bob Iger has publicly said that. So you don't even have to take my word for it. I can tell you that there's some private equity shops looking at it, as well as apparently Nexstar Communications, which owns News Nation, has also taken a little look-see at this one. But it means you're going to have to deal with this show. And I think this show is going to be off the air sooner rather than later. The View, living up to its rather disastrous, infamous reputation for not being responsible in any way, shape, or form, for treating news as indeed entertainment, when one of their contributors, Ana Navarro, also on CNN, had this to say. And think about this, ladies and gentlemen, this is in the hours after the aftermath. What the country has been through is devastating. What the Trump family and Donald Trump himself have been through is devastating. The fact that you have one person dead, 2 critically injured, all of this is devastating. And this is where this lady takes it. Watch.
So, I'm very happy Donald Trump is safe. Full stop, period. And I condemn all forms of political violence. I'm simply heartbroken for the family of Corey Compertori, a volunteer fire chief, a father, a husband who lost his life shielding his family simply for going to a political rally. And I was watching it live because I thought he was going to announce his VP that day. That was part of what was being said. And I immediately thought it was a shooting. And I was shocked and I was heartbroken because I fled political violence in Nicaragua. And to me, this is something that's not supposed to happen in America. I felt the same way when I did watching January 6th. These attacks on democracy, on America, don't happen in this country. They happen in other places. And I'm very happy for President Biden. I'm very happy that he's taking the opportunity to be on air now 3 times, asking us to call on our better angels, asking us to unite, asking us to tamp down the rhetoric. I'm going to try to heed his words. Today is a day, I think, and this entire time for self-reflection and a call to unity. I truly hope Donald Trump uses the platform he has to do that. And I also need to say, I hope that at some point in this country, we do have a conversation about what is happening, because we can't just react when it is our side. What was this again? It was, a 20-year-old lone wolf, white, whack job with easy access to a gun. And we have to have a conversation about that, because it wasn't a drag queen. It wasn't an immigrant. It wasn't a pissed off liberal woman. This keeps happening. And we need to react, not as left or right, not as Republicans or Democrats. We need to react as Americans.
All right. Okay. So time and place, right? She had to go there. She went there immediately. Somehow it's always got to fit this little narrative that they have. By the way, we don't even know the narrative, right? Because we can't even get any information. Somebody scrubbed his phone. This 20-year-old kid, there's no information on him. Really? I mean, you knew that he wasn't a very good shooter because he apparently tried out for the rifle team in high school, and the friends are saying, oh, he was just really weird, made really weird jokes, not appropriate, and was a lousy shot. And now he's graduated 2 years later, and this is what happened. We don't know much more. His parents are reportedly social workers. They were asked, the dad was asked, and he said, I have nothing to say. I got to figure out what's going on. I got to talk to law enforcement. And now there's absolutely no social media footprint on the guy. Do you not think that that is completely weird? Drew and I were talking before the show, and Drew's like, what 20-year-old has never been on social media ever? I'm like, well, if I have anything to say about it, I hope my kids don't. But the truth is, like, you can't, right? Like, you're somewhere, someplace, you're going to be out there online in some way, shape, or form. And the fact that there's literally nothing on this kid, nothing, how could that be? Apparently he had a Discord account. Discord is a social media platform very popular with gamers and people in the tech world. And he hadn't posted on that for months. We don't really know much more. Now that's kind of odd in and of itself. It reminds me of when there was the transgender shooter situation down in Tennessee. Do you remember that, guys? And we waited and waited on the manifesto, and finally it came out. And by the way, they were very secretive, even about the fact that this person was originally born male. It was quite weird. So there's an effort, I don't know why, to perhaps suppress some of this stuff. And I mean, it's neither here nor there, other than there's probably more to the story, and in time we're going to get more, and we probably have to be patient. But look, I mean, for her to go immediately to that, it just strikes me as bizarre and irresponsible. And I'm gonna be the adult here, okay? Like, you know, you can say what you want about streamers and podcasts, but we're adults here on this show, and we don't report hearsay. We don't report anything that's a quote unquote cheap fake, like the White House would like you to think. We report facts and figures, and I give you my opinion on it, and you often share your opinion. And you know what? That's all great. But we are responsible. And I think that, unfortunately, too many members of the media that are part of the mainstream, right? Like, this is NBC and ABC and Disney and Comcast, and they have not been responsible at all. They have squandered any trust that anyone would have in any of their institutions. They have used and abused the American public, sitting there with a straight face and telling us all the things that they would tell us, including, oh, Joe Biden's laptop, it's just a fake. Misinformation fed you courtesy of Rudy Giuliani and the Russians. I mean, you got a few winners out there, and I use winners sarcastically, like Reid Hoffman's guy who's some kind of advisor. He's got Reid Hoffman, by the way, is a billionaire that created LinkedIn. And he's got some political advisor that said some really shady things, trying to suggest that somehow this is all a concocted narrative. Once again, brought to you courtesy of the Russians. There's another guy who's the mayor out in Washington who said something similar. We're not even going to go down those rabbit holes because, again, we're responsible here. But these people aren't. They are not responsible individuals. And for Anna Navarro to take it where she just took it, listen, we can have the conversation, and we should have the conversation about being nicer human beings and not saying flagrantly violent things about one another. We can have that conversation, and we should. But for her to take it where she took it, it just tells me it's much more of the same. And that's what we got to get away from. We got to get away from it in the media. We got to get away from it in politics. We got to get away from it. Hey, look, even on Wall Street. I mean, it's part of, I'll tell you, this is part of the reason why I created 76 Research. My company that I co-founded with Rob Horton, who's very simpatico with all of us in terms of our thoughts. But you know, he was on Wall Street for a zillion years and was like, this is crazy, right? Because there's so much of this top-down nonsense that's getting pushed into the narrative, and people can't make smart investment decisions when you got all that nonsense there, right? And I look at it as a journalist, same sort of thing. So we need that layer peeled back. We need transparency. We need truth. We need reality. And whether it's in the media or whether it's in politics or whether it comes to your investing, I want you to have it. So 76research.com. You can go to 76report.com. We actually just made a really fascinating change in one of the portfolios, the American Resilience portfolio, actually, to give you a little bit more exposure to NVIDIA and some of those tech stocks that have been doing so well, but that are not so high beta. And we wrote about it in both the 76 report and then, of course, in the American Resilience portfolio. But you can get the 76 report, 76report.com, for just $1. Just $1 a month. It's part of our July Independence Day gift to you. So go check it out. For 2 months, you get that introductory rate of $1 a month. It's just because $9.95 after. But this is information that you need and that you should have. And I want you to have, because I'll tell you, you got to invest. You got to invest for yourself and your family and your future. It is the most important thing that you can do right now. And I get it. It's hard, right? You don't have an extra $5 just kicking around every single day, let alone every week. But I don't care what it is. I need you to invest because it's the right thing to do. It really is. And that's the only way you're going to keep up with this crazy inflation, really and truly.